Hello, welcome to another World of Warships review. This time I'm going to be reviewing the famous Cleveland Tier 6 American cruiser. Now I'm going to be doing a really quick review because I want to get the Cleveland review over with as fast as possible for two reasons. One, this is already a very known ship. A lot of people are calling it overpowered, so, no need to talk too much about it. And the second reason is I want to do in the next few weeks a review of the Tier 7 American cruiser, the Pensacola, and the Tier 6 Japanese cruiser, the Aoba. Now, it's really tricky to talk about these ships without first understanding the beast that is the Cleveland at Tier 6. So, quickly looking at the stats in the port, there's nothing that really stands out. I mean, they're good stats, they're good mobility, stuff like that, but what really stands out is the anti-aircraft guns, which it gets a lot of, and it also has the ability to use the secondary batteries as anti-aircraft guns. So this is one of the first ships that can literally dismantle aircraft squadrons. And the other thing that stands out is the artillery. This ship gets 12 152mm guns in 4 turrets. Now, the caliber of the guns is nothing to brag about. The Japanese get 203mm guns at Tier 5 with the Furutaka. So you might be a little bit put off by that, but the AP shells on these guns still do their job, provided you use them wisely. But the really amazing thing about the guns is the rate of fire. They have an 8.3 rounds per minute rate of fire. That's something like 7.5 seconds reload, which is really going to annoy your enemies, and it's going to annoy you as well if you're fighting another Cleveland. So let's jump into some gameplay so we can see how this ship behaves in a normal battle. So let's get this started. I'm here on the New Dawn map. I'm in a Tier 6 maximum game, so that's really good. And I'm heading off on the right side of the map with some destroyer and battleship backup. Now, I never like taking a ship in one side of the map by myself or with just minimal backup, just another ship as my backup. And even though a lot of people say that the Cleveland is overpowered, I don't like doing that in the Cleveland either. And this brings me to the opportunity of talking a bit about kind of the downsides of the Cleveland. So what I think is one of the weaknesses of the Cleveland is it's a pretty big ship. It has a pretty tall hull, and it also has a pretty big superstructure. I mean, especially when you compare it to the Japanese cruisers. So that means it's really not that difficult to hit, even though it's fairly maneuverable, for a cruiser, but still. And now the other, if we can just take a look at this when I'm shooting this destroyer. As you can see, the advantage of having that rate of fire is the fact that I can just shoot a general area where I think that destroyer is going to be, and I'm probably going to hit at least one or two of the shells. Which looks like I'm going to. Yep, I get 2 hits on that destroyer. But as you can saw from me firing at that destroyer, which was something like 12 kilometers away, close to the maximum range of the Cleveland, is that the travel time of the shells is pretty big, which is another weakness of the Cleveland. Fair enough, it's slightly compensated by the fact that you have a very good rate of fire, so you can just fire again and again and again. But as you can see, firing at that battleship, look at how much the shells are in the air. I'm basically firing the second salvo, and the second salvo is almost halfway, and the first one just hit the water. So it does have a pretty big travel time for the shells, which can be exploited by maneuverable ships, staying at the Cleveland's maximum distance. Now, like I said, the rate of fire compensates that a little bit because you just spam an area. So now I'm loading some armor-piercing shells to fire at that Tenryu, because he's just a tier 3 cruiser and I'm probably going to do a lot of damage with it. I actually have to hit him first, but yeah. And yeah, what I found in the Cleveland is that even though your guns are not that big a caliber, you can still make the armor piercing work, provided you know which ships to shoot at. Just take a look at this. Even at medium distances such as this, I need to give more lead to that Tenryu, because the travel time is pretty big, and that looks like a good hit. Ooh, that was Citadel penetration. Hope I can finish him off. Come on, come on, come on. Yep, bingo. So again, armor piercing works even with smaller caliber, but you need to kind of know when to shoot it, where to shoot it. And then there's the factor of luck. I mean, I've shot battleship armor piercing shells at cruisers and, 5 hits did 1000 damage. I was like, okay, what is going on? But yeah. And the situation I'm in right now is a situation that is really ideal for the Cleveland and is what kind of makes this ship overpowered. I have a lot of targets to shoot at, and none of them are focusing on me. I'm shooting at a Cleveland right now, but there's 2 more battleships there I can shoot at. And they all seem to be focused on the battleships behind me or the destroyers in front of me. And this is the kind of situation where the Cleveland thrives. Basically, situations where you can shoot at the enemy, but the enemy is not shooting back at you, because you can make this rate of fire work. And I set that guy on fire. Yeah. Something I forgot to mention in the port is the good turn speed of the turrets. As you can see, I shot that Cleveland, and right now I think I shot that at that Congo. Yeah, those shots are going into the Congo, and I managed to set both of them on fire. So this is something you can do in the Cleveland. You can alternate between targets, and I just killed that Cleveland. So that's I think my 2nd kill. Now what you're gonna see me doing here is I'm firing AP at that Congo, and I think I actually scored some damage. Yeah, that was pretty decent damage. But again, when shooting at battleships, they really need to be lower tier than you, and you need to get a bit lucky with the shots. Right now I need to get focused because I'm running into the edge of the map, and that's gonna make me a better target for that Congo, and I really don't want to get hit by his guns because the Cleveland doesn't have the best armor. And like I said before, it's a pretty big target, and I think he shot me with high explosive because I'm burning. But yeah, armor piercing on the Cleveland, I'm not entirely sure when to recommend it. I know I definitely had problems penetrating the Pensacola with them in one of the games I played, but on the other hand, I'm pretty sure you can shoot pretty much any tier 6 or lower cruiser with armor piercing from the Cleveland and reliably penetrate them. Provided you take into account the tips I gave you in the last video, sorry, where I said that when the ship is angled towards you, it's kind of more difficult at medium and short ranges to penetrate with armor piercing. That is still applicable here. And I set another battleship on fire. And again, they're not really focusing on me. I mean, there's a couple of shots coming in, but it's a bit too late, and here's a destroyer. And the Cleveland should be is a pretty good ship to take out destroyers. And I think I'm swinging my rear turrets to get shots on that guy, and I kill him. I think I managed to avoid all of these torpedoes, but that was a pretty risky move trying to get those rear turrets firing at that destroyer, because I almost hit a torpedo here, and If I took a torpedo here, the outcome of this game would probably look a lot different. And that is a Cleveland, and that is not good. So it's time for me to take some damage from another Cleveland. And I really need to get away because with just 25% health like I have, and that guy being on almost full health, I don't want to trade shots with him. And as you can see, while he was maneuvering, it was kind of hard for me to land those, you know, those salvos because the long time of the shells to get there. But now I got, I'm outside of his range, and I should be safe from him. That battleship could shoot at me, but I don't think he's shooting at me. I can't tell where his guns are pointed. I don't think he's shooting at me, so I'm just gonna keep him at maximum range and fire some high explosives, do a little bit of damage. So is the Cleveland overpowered? Really difficult to tell. It's definitely a very good ship. It's definitely a ship even somebody who's a beginner can do well in because of that rate of fire. You can just dish out a lot of damage really quickly, even if you're gonna die like a noob really fast. Um, I would be hesitant to call it overpowered because I know that Clevelands can be killed if you pay attention to them and try to negate their strong points. But if I would, in Wargaming's position, I wouldn't nerf the Cleveland just yet. I'd really like to see how it compares to the German and to the Russian cruisers, and to the British cruisers as well when they're gonna get introduced. I think the Cleveland's overpoweredness is kind of balanced by the fact that there's a lot of people who are gonna play it, and not all of them are gonna, be very skilled at it, so they're gonna, waste the ship's potential. But at any rate, there's no doubt that this is a very, very good ship, particularly in the hands of someone skilled. And I do believe that is a battleship that is complaining in chat about the spam ability of the Cleveland. I feel you, bro. I feel you. I mean, I definitely enjoy playing the Cleveland, but when you get into a fight with another Cleveland who knows, particularly one that knows what it's doing, it's gonna be a difficult fight because of that amazing rate of fire. So right now I don't have a lot of HP, and I want to keep myself in the game firing, and I want to hit targets, but I don't want to get too close to them, don't want to draw their attention, and I also don't want to run into this island over here. As you can see, the Cleveland is pretty maneuverable, so it's not the most maneuverable cruiser, but it's definitely enough to get the job done. Enough to get the job done quite well, I might add. So again, that battleship is not focused on me. He has to turn because of those torpedoes, and I can just shoot him and pepper him with high explosive shells. And again, this is where the Cleveland thrives. Like you saw in the minutes that passed, as soon as the enemy ships start focusing you down in the Cleveland, you're gonna start losing health fast. This is not a very well armored ship. This is not a very resilient ship. That Congo is probably cursing his days. He's getting shot. He's in the middle of the map between a couple of our ships, and he's getting pounded from all directions. I'm shooting him from his flank. There's somebody shooting him from the back, from the front, and I just took a hit. Oh, that Cleveland. He doesn't have a lot of health, but I think he's sailing away from me. I mean, he's putting the island between us, so he's probably not going to be able to shoot me anymore. So I can focus on hitting this Congo a bit. Yeah, he's gone. He can't shoot me, so I'm going to deal with him when the time comes, but right now I just want to focus on this Congo and I just want to make sure that he doesn't point his guns at me, because if he points his guns at me, I'm gonna need to start maneuvering, because with 8,000 or how much health I have, he could kill me in one good shot. But alas, he's not pointing his guns at me, and I might be able to get the kill. I'm actually slowing down here to keep him within range and continue shooting at him and not get closer to that Cleveland. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, there were some shots. Oh, yeah, yep. There were some shots coming in from another battleship, but I managed to get the kill. So that was the third kill, something like that. Okay, so now it's time to move forward and deal with that Cleveland and that aircraft carrier wherever he is. I'm not particularly. I mean, I had a good game so far, so I'm not particularly enthusiastic about getting into a fight with that Cleveland. You know, I'm just gonna go around the island, and if he's there, I'm gonna take some shots of opportunity. But he's dead, so there's just an aircraft carrier left, and it looks like he's within range. I just need to clear this island before I can shoot at him. Come on, Cleveland, clear the island. There we go. I'm gonna be able to shoot at him really soon. So it looks like he was standing still because there's a battleship coming right in front of him. So I'm hoping that these shots are gonna land on target. Yep. Shots are on target. It does look like he launched some torpedoes from his torpedo bombers at that battleship. Good shots. Ooh, he's taking a big hit. My shots are hitting as well. And bam, he's dead. So looking at the post-game results, I managed 5 kills with a Confederate medal, 226 hits on target, quite a bit of profit, and quite a bit of experience earned. And speaking about experience, I didn't finish top on experience. Good job, New Mexico. That New Mexico player earned more experience than I did. In terms of damage, this amounts to something like 110,000 damage. I think I calculated that after the game, which is very, very good. So yeah, I hope this replay shows you the kind of stuff that you can do in the Cleveland if you are able to shoot at whatever target you want, whenever you want, without being focused upon. Anyway, with this, I'm going to wrap it up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe, like, or comment if you enjoyed these videos. See ya.